Have you ever sat down to enjoy a warm, home-cooked meal, only to wake up the next morning with your knees aching more than usual? Maybe it was that rich tomato soup, maybe it was those crispy golden fries, and maybe, just maybe, it wasn't your age talking, but your dinner. For decades, arthritis after 60 has been blamed on just getting older. But what if it's not just your joints wearing down? What if it's the vegetables you've trusted your whole life? They're called nightshades: tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, eggplants, and they're in everything from your morning omelet to your evening pasta sauce. Delicious? Yes. But could they be making your arthritis worse? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which nightshade vegetables may secretly be triggering your joint pain and which ones are still safe to enjoy. Joan is 68. She lives in a quiet neighborhood in Florida, where she's known for her famous eggplant parmesan, the kind with bubbling cheese, homemade sauce, and just the right crunch. Every Sunday her grandkids come over for dinner. She cooks, they laugh, life feels good. But lately, Monday mornings haven't been so kind. Joan wakes up with swollen fingers. Her knees feel like they've rusted overnight. Just stepping out of bed feels like dragging concrete. At first she thought it was age, then maybe it was the weather. But one morning, after struggling to twist open a simple jar of jam, the same hands that once kneaded dough with ease, she broke down in tears. She had a garden waiting, flowers to plant, a life to live, and her body was slowing her down. That's when she heard the word nightshades for the first time, and it changed everything. So, what exactly are nightshades? They're a family of plants that include some of the most common and tasty vegetables on your plate: tomatoes, white potatoes, eggplants, bell peppers, and even chili peppers. They look harmless, delicious even. But here's what most people don't know. Nightshades contain a natural chemical called solanin. Think of it like the plant's built-in bug spray, its way of protecting itself from insects and disease. And while that's great for the plant, it's not always great for your body. In some people, especially those with joint pain or arthritis, solanine can act like a tiny spark that adds fuel to the fire. It may not affect everyone, but for some, it quietly causes more stiffness, swelling, and discomfort without them ever realizing what's really behind it. So how do you know if nightshades are secretly making your arthritis worse? Well, you might be sensitive if you enjoy a big plate of spaghetti with tomato sauce, and the next morning, your knees feel like they've been wrapped in cement. Or if your fingers swell up after dinner, and you catch yourself struggling to slip on your wedding ring, the same one you've worn for decades. You might be sensitive if you wake up with stiff, aching joints that make brushing your hair feel like a chore. Or if gardening, something that once brought you peace, now leaves your wrists sore for hours. It could even be something as small as this. You reach for the peanut butter jar, but your hands won't twist the lid. And all you had for dinner last night? A baked potato and grilled bell peppers. That's the thing about nightshade sensitivity. It doesn't scream. It whispers, quietly, gradually, in your joints, until you start to wonder if it's just aging. But your body is smarter than you think. Sometimes the food you trust the most might be what's holding you back. All right, it's time for the Nightshade Showdown. Let's rank the top 5 most common nightshade vegetables that seniors say make their arthritis worse, starting from the mildest to the most likely culprit. 5. Bell peppers. Colorful, crunchy, packed with vitamin C. Bell peppers are a favorite in salads and stir-fries, and they seem innocent enough. But for some seniors, especially when eaten raw, they can trigger mild joint flare-ups, particularly in the fingers and wrists. So if you're chopping peppers for your omelet and wondering why your knuckles feel sore later, this little veggie might be worth watching. But trust me, it only gets spicier from here. 4. White potatoes. Ah, the classic comfort food. Mashed, baked, or fried, potatoes are everywhere. But they're also loaded with solanine, especially when the skin is left on or if they've started to sprout. If your knees or ankles tend to throb after a hearty helping of fries or hash browns, your body might be giving you a quiet warning. And here's the twist: sweet potatoes? Not nightshades at all. So there's still hope for that holiday casserole. Still, we're just getting started. 3. Eggplants. Soft, creamy, and the star of many Mediterranean dishes, eggplants feel healthy. But for some seniors, they come with a price. Joan, from our earlier story, loved her eggplant parm. But the next day, she could barely hold her garden shears. Eggplants have a higher solanine content than most, and that could explain the joint stiffness some people feel just hours after a meal. But if you think eggplants are bad, wait until you hear what's next. 2. Chili peppers. Yes, these little firecrackers bring the heat, not just in your mouth, but sometimes in your joints too. Capsaicin, the compound that gives peppers their kick, can reduce inflammation when used in creams. But eaten in excess, especially for those with arthritis, it might actually increase joint irritation, swelling, or gut discomfort. If you love spice but notice your knuckles throb the morning after taco night, this one might be the hidden culprit. Still, one vegetable sits at the top of the list, and it's the most surprising of all. 1. Tomatoes. Fresh, juicy, the heart of sauces, soups, and salads. Tomatoes are everywhere, and yet they're the most complained about nightshade by seniors with arthritis. It's not just the fruit, it's the seeds, the skins, and the acid. For sensitive bodies, it's a perfect storm. You might feel fine one day, and the next wake up with swollen knees or stiff elbows after pasta night. They're healthy for many, but for some, tomatoes quietly feed inflammation like dry wood on a fire. And most people never connect the dots. This list isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Because once you know your triggers, you can make choices that help you feel stronger, looser, and more in control. Now, before you start tossing out every tomato or potato in your kitchen, let's make one thing clear. Not every senior with arthritis needs to cut out nightshades. That's right, these vegetables aren't the enemy for everyone. In fact, many people over 60 eat nightshades their whole lives without ever noticing a problem. But for some, especially those with autoimmune arthritis, like rheumatoid arthritis, or those who deal with chronic inflammation, these veggies can quietly trigger flare-ups. If your joints feel achy, swollen, or stiff more often than not, if you're already trying medications, creams, and exercises, but still feel like something's missing, it might be time to test your plate. And here's the good news, you don't need a fancy lab test, no blood work, no pricey kit. Just try eliminating nightshades for 2 to 3 weeks. Keep everything else the same, but skip the tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and peppers. Then listen to your body. Do your mornings feel easier? Are your fingers less puffy? Is that walk around the block just a little smoother? That's your answer, simple, clear, and personal. Now let's be honest, for many of us, giving up tomatoes or potatoes completely, that's a tall order. So if you love your favorite nightshades but suspect they might be bothering your joints, there's still hope. Because sometimes, it's not what you eat, it's how you prepare it. First, cook them well. Heat can break down some of the irritating compounds like solanine, so instead of raw bell peppers in a salad, try roasting or sautéing them gently in olive oil. Second, remove the seeds and skins from tomatoes. That's where most of the irritation hides. A quick blanch and peel before making sauce can make a big difference for sensitive joints. Third, if you're a potato lover, try golden or sweet potatoes instead of white ones. They're not nightshades and they're much easier on your body. Plus, they taste amazing roasted with herbs. And here's a bonus tip. Pair your nightshades with anti-inflammatory ingredients like turmeric, ginger, and extra virgin olive oil. These can help balance out the effects and soothe your system naturally. Try this simple joint-friendly stir-fry. Sauté peeled zucchini, a handful of spinach, some golden potato cubes, and a few cooked bell peppers in olive oil. Add a dash of turmeric, black pepper, and fresh ginger. Top with a squeeze of lemon, and enjoy a warm, comforting dish with less stress on your joints. Remember, it's not about deprivation. It's about smarter choices that still let you love your food without the pain that follows. At the end of the day, your body speaks. Not with loud warnings, but with quiet signs. A swollen knuckle, a stiff knee, a morning that feels harder than it should. And sometimes the answer isn't in a prescription bottle, it's in your plate. If removing tomatoes or peppers makes your joints feel lighter, if skipping potatoes means waking up with more energy, that's not a coincidence. That's your body gently saying, thank you. Your health after 60 isn't about giving up everything you love. It's about listening, adjusting, and choosing what helps you thrive. Because the goal isn't just to reduce pain, it's to garden again, to dance again, to open that stubborn jar with steady hands, to live freely without holding your joints in fear. And if all it takes is a few small changes on your plate, well, that's a powerful place to start. If this video helped you understand your body just a little better, if it made you think twice about what's on your plate and how it makes you feel, go ahead and give it a like. And if you have a friend, a sibling, or someone you share Sunday sauce with, send this their way. They might thank you more than you know. And if you're looking for more videos that don't just give advice, but actually make you feel seen, understood, and supported in this stage of life, hit that subscribe button. Because your health story isn't over, it's just getting stronger.